Hello and welcome. My name is Olivia Brown, your host for the Western Journal, and today we have a very special guest, Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow and an advocate for election integrity. Welcome, Mike.
Oh, thanks for having me on.
Today, Mike has graciously given us a promo code so that our loyal audience like you can have 66% off on MyPillow.com. Be sure to use the code Western Journal and call the number below on the screen.
Yeah.
So
That's up to 66% off. We have all different discounts, but it's up to 66% off all the products.
I love to hear that. Well, thank you, Mike, for being with us. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with the FBI recently?
Well, it was about it was the spur of the moment. My friend and I were heading down to Iowa for the early duck season down there, and we left at 4 in the morning, head down to Iowa. It's a 2.5 hour drive. We went hunting in the morning, and we were on our way back about 11 o'clock, 11:30, I guess, a.m. And we got halfway back, and we were hungry. We said, let's pull in here and in this Hardee's and get something to eat. We pulled into the drive-through, and she said, some of your food will take a little longer. Could you pull ahead, like we all typically do at drive-throughs? I pull ahead, and at that point we stopped, and maybe about 5-10 seconds later, a car pulls up to me, perpendicular, right in front of me. Another car pulls up to the right and seals us in from the right side. And I told my friends, these are bad people. Something's going down here. And then I looked, and someone comes flying up the drive-through lane. And at that point, I go, which I'm very glad it wasn't in the dark, or I would have rammed right through those cars and just took off on a high-speed chase, thinking that they were bad people out to do harm to us. There was no identification on the vehicles. They weren't wearing sunglasses and FBI coats, I'll tell you that. It was all just street clothes and different vehicles. And I stepped out of my car with my door, and I yelled really loud so they'd hear me in the parking lot, and inside I said, "Who are you and what do you want?" And the guy says, "We're FBI, we want to talk to you." I said, "I don't believe you. Show me your badge." And he held one up, and they said, "How about you?" And he did. And now they had me pull, but so I go, okay, well, maybe they wouldn't have a bunch of badges with them. Well, they opened up, they backed the two cars kind of apart a little bit, and I pulled between them into the next lane. And a bunch of them came up and surrounded me by the driver's door. There was at least 4 agents there, some from Colorado, some from Minnesota. And my friend, now he's like in a panic, and I said, I'll talk to them. I don't know what this is. I said, what do you want? And they started asking me about the evidence I have up about with the machines to get rid of the electronic voting machines that are up on frankspeech.com. They asked me, and specifically they asked me about Dominion. And I go, what are you investigating Dominion? It's about time. Well, they go, no. And I said, what did you do? I said, how'd you do you track us? They obviously had to have a tracking device either on my truck or obviously on the phone, or they were tracking my phone. Anyway, we started talking back and forth, and they asked me, Mike, you fly your airplane around to a lot of states. Why do you do that? And I go, that's really none of your business. But I said, now that you asked, I said, I meet with attorney generals, crooked secretary of states, politicians, people on the ground. I do events everywhere trying to get the word out to get rid of these electronic voting machines and computers used in our elections. And then he asked me about this Tina Peters, this clerk from, she was a county commissioner clerk for our county clerk from Mesa County, Colorado. You all might have heard the story. She's never had a jaywalking ticket in her life, and people in that not the 2020 election, it was an election in 2021. Townspeople came to her and said, "Hey, we think there was something funny in this that happened in this election. We'd like you to check into it." And she said, no. She actually denied. She said, everything I do, she believes in her job. She does a great job. And they said, no, we think it was with the machines. Well, then she did a backup before Dominion and the Secretary of State crookedly came in illegally to do what's called the trusted build, and she backed up her machine or her computer before they came in, like anybody should. There was other clerks that did that too. You back up your computer to save the data on there in case they delete something, which they did, deleted the 2020 election. But anyway, we kept talking, and then they go, finally, we're about half hour into these questions, and he go, when did you meet Tina Peters? I said, at my cyber symposium in August of 2021. Like, I met so many people from around the country, all 50 states, and then finally he said, well, I said, you going to arrest me or what? And he goes, no. And I said, but we got bad news. We're going to take your phone. And I said, no. You're not taking my phone. I run 5 businesses off it. I have passwords on there to wire money, to do everything. I don't use a computer or a laptop. I use my phone. I'm always traveling. I've used it for everything. My Lindell Recovery Network, I use it for my hearing aids, everything. So they go, well, we have a warrant here. That's when they first showed me they had a warrant in a search and seizure, whatever it was, for the phone. And I said, you just will arrest me because I'm not giving you my phone. And they go, no, we're not here to arrest you. We got your phone. I said, well, I want to call my lawyer. And they said, no, you can't call your lawyer. And I said, let me get this straight. If you arrest me, I can call a lawyer. But since you're not going to arrest me, I can't call a lawyer and you're going to steal property from me. So I sat and argued about that. And I said, I'm calling my lawyer. Finally, they said, okay, call your lawyer. So I showed them in clear view. I called one of my lawyers, and he said, he read the subpoena. He said, Mike, he said, go ahead and give me your phone. I said, no, I don't want to give him my phone. Well, he talked me into it. Then the FBI gave me this little piece of paper here that says not to, this is pretty funny, everybody. You give me this piece of paper that says, you are not under any obligation of secrecy. However, we request that you do not disclose the existence of this subpoena for an indefinite period of time. Although the law does not require non-disclosure unless a court order is issued, we believe the impact of any disclosure could be detrimental to the investigation. In other words, they didn't want me to tell anybody about this too. I said, are you kidding me? I'm telling the world, which I did. And but just disgusting what they've done.
Is this something that you would want to sue the government over for how they treated
Well,
you?
now, funny you say that. Let me tell you what's going on. Since that, I'll tell you a couple good things that came of this. Fox finally talked about machines. Tucker Carlson, God bless him, he went on Fox 2 nights in a row, talked about machines, showed it Kamala Harris saying we can't have voting machines, we can't have electronic machines. She said this back in the day in 2018. And he talked about me getting, what the FBI did to me. But Fox has not been, this was the first time that they had said anything about the election and the crime, election crime, since February, I believe, 2nd of 2021. Because remember, Smartmatic sued Fox on February 4th. So that was a good thing. And I got to go on Newsmax and also talk about what had happened in these election machines. Now, what happened was it's called mystore.com, everybody, which, by the way, you can also use that promo code Western Journal. I set this platform up with all of these entrepreneurs. It costs millions of dollars. It's a website, mystore.com. And these guys have USA-made products. It's a safe platform. It's like a mini Amazon. And I was meeting with these guys, with five of these entrepreneurs, and they were going to be drivers, kind of like my coffee is now. And 4 of them called me and said, Mike, we don't want to do business with you now that the FBI is involved. In other words, they think the FBI now, they think that I've committed, people are now perceived that I've committed some kind of a crime or done something wrong. Wrong. They're doing this just to attack me again, and then one of the banks for these guys backed out and said, we're not going to give you money because of Mike Lindell now getting the FBI stopping him for his phone. So here's what we're doing, everybody. I'm suing the FBI today or maybe first thing tomorrow morning. I'm waiting to hear from the lawyers. We're suing the FBI and the United States government for violating my First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, and Sixth Amendment rights. So this is going to be unprecedented where we're going for it to get, this cannot happen in our country anymore. You know, Olivia, when I was talking to the FBI, I said, why didn't you come down and bash my door down like you do so many people in this country now, like you did in Colorado with these moms there? One of them was, they call her America's Mom, Sharona Bishop. You bashed her door down and pulled her daughter down the steps by her hoodie. And you know what the FBI guy said to me? He said, well, Mike, she didn't open her door fast. Sharona didn't open her door fast enough. It was 42 seconds. I said, oh, that's the new thing, everybody. If the FBI comes a knocking, make sure you got an egg timer or a watch going, hurry, get to that door before 40 seconds is up. They bashed her door down. She never got charged with anything, everybody. I didn't get charged with anything. They're out stealing my livelihood. Cost me tens of millions of dollars potentially now by losing these vendors. So this lawsuit is going to be huge. It's got to stop now.
How far do you think that the FBI is willing to take this? Do you think that they could even possibly put you in jail wrongfully?
Well, I'll tell you what. I actually asked them. I said, I'd rather have you take me to jail, and they wouldn't do it. I wanted this to get on Fox News and Newsmax and places like that. We've got to get the word out about these electronic voting machines and get rid of them. We have to get rid of them. I asked them also, I said, does this have anything to do with January 6th? And they go, no. And I go, well, would you tell those other FBI guys I would love to come to the January 6th committee, the big charade there? Because I wasn't there, but I have all the evidence for the election. So I bring it there and go, get rid of this. I told the FBI too, I said, you guys did a report after January 6th for 6 months. The FBI put out a report on June 26, 2021, everybody. They put the report out saying there was absolutely no collusion between Donald Trump and his supporters over January 6th. It should have been over. So would the FBI or could I be arrested? You know what? As long as I don't really care. I don't. If that's what they do to break my rights, if I get arrested for anything, I'm innocent. I haven't done anything other than I want to get rid of these electronic voting machines, and they want to keep them. Your government wants to keep them. That's how they were selected. This is a big, big conspiracy thing where they do not want these machines gone. It comes right on the heels, everybody, of having the whole country reach out for what's called cast vote records. These cast vote records, we got in over, they were deleting all the machines. The 2020 election by September 3rd, the 22 months was up. Everybody, we did a call out for the cast vote records, Olivia. We got in over 1,000 counties in the United States out of 3,200. And of those, 97% show 100% machine manipulation from the 2020 election.
Why do you think that they are hunting down people like Tina Peters and they are so desperate to hide potential election fraud, just like in Colorado?
Right, because it's the biggest cover-up for the biggest crime in history. 54 countries have already either lost their country or are going to lose their country to the machines, the computerized voting systems, okay? Starting with Venezuela, Australia, all these countries, they don't get to come back because the people that got selected by the computers, they're not going to vote out these machines. This has been the biggest cover-up of the biggest crime ever, and they do not want to get rid of these machines. That's what it's all about. In Colorado, Dominion's based in Colorado. The Secretary of State, Jenna Griswold, weaponized the FBI against their own citizens there because they want these machines gone. They want to show the corruption, and this has been the biggest problem we've had is the cover-up for it has been so hard to get the word out. So if it takes me for the FBI to come and attack me, and finally Tucker Carlson on Fox talks about it for 2 days in a row, you guys, that's baby steps. We've had all the evidence. We have everything we need. We just need to get the word out and show, hey, who would want these machines? The Democrats warned us about this for 18 years. And Tucker put Kamala Harris right up on TV with their recording saying we've got to get rid of these voting machines. This isn't about Democrats or Republicans. It's about our freedoms will be gone forever if we don't get rid of these machines.
Just this morning, it was announced that a Minnesota judge denied to throw out a case in which you had gone against the voting machines. I'd like to know a little bit, who do you think is behind this judge not throwing out this case?
Right, it's wrongfully. And then, let me tell you, I'm going to talk about judges for a second. You're exactly right. This judge, who I think is behind this, the same people that are behind the takeover of our country, which I'm going to tell everybody, the CCP, the Uniparty, the deep state, the globalists. Those parties, now it's all evil is revealing its ugly head all over the place. So they get to these judges. Now, let me tell you, when you talk about evidence, everybody, no judge in the United States has looked at the evidence yet of the 2020 election crimes. You know why? Because they're able to kick the can on a thing called standing. So every judge in this country, when the evidence is brought before them or a case is brought before them, they'll kick it out for standing. They don't want to be, these judges, they're good people. They just don't want to be the first one to look at the evidence and say, because they have families, they have friends, they have children, grandchildren, they're afraid. I believe they're really afraid. Now, these other judges that end up with these cases, so then I call it the maybe compromise judges, the thing, when it makes no sense, there's something that has happened to where the judge makes a horrible ruling that Smartmatic case can go forward. I didn't, especially now when I have all the evidence posted on Frank's Speech, on my own platform, frankspeech.com. Here's the evidence. These cases, everybody, that I defamed these voting machine companies, Smartmatic and Dominion. Well, in order to defame them, I would have had to go badmouth them. I didn't even know who they were. I didn't know these names before the election, before this happened. And I would have to do this for another agenda. Remember, this has cost me tens of millions of dollars. Now just the FBI, again, that's going to cost me more millions of dollars. These machine companies that they have done this, when Smartmatic sued Fox on February 4th of 2021, it changed our world forever. It's called lawfare, everybody. Lawfare has not been used, according to Alan Dershowitz, one of my lawyers, has not been used in the United States since 1798. It's called lawfare. They do this so that everybody's afraid to speak up about the truth, or they get sued or attacked. And it's very sad. So that judge that did that, I think it's disgusting, but it was expected. And look at the timing, everybody. They want that to take the news cycle. I've had people call me, your CNNs of the world, calling me all day. Mike, Smartmatic, their case gets to move forward. Well, good for them. How about the case that I'm putting out suing the United States government and the FBI? I will not stop till these machines are gone and we save our country and our freedoms. I'm the American dream, where you can go from being an ex-crack cocaine addict to having thousands of employees, USA made here in the United States, to be able to have the freedoms we have that millions have fought for, and to have it all stolen by machines and computers. Where it's just disgusting that the media has suppressed this, and this is what we're up against, though. So shame on them judges. I think we need to pray for our judges, pray for their families, pray for their friends, family, neighbors, that they encourage these judges to actually look at the evidence that these machines have to go, and not kick it out for something called standing. The judges need to have courage just to be the judges that God wants them to be. Look at the stuff. Whatever you rule, then fine, but look at the evidence. It's disgusting when you can't get any judge in the country to rule on the biggest crime in history.
Thank you for standing up and being brave to do that. How does your faith impact your actions?
It's 100%. You know, this is, I use everybody, it's Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding. In all ways acknowledge him and he will guide your path. I went down some pretty bad paths in my life. And now, you know, I pray about the decisions I make. I mean, God has given us grace, everybody, for such a time as this. And you go, well, this sure doesn't feel like grace. Yes, it is. Just think if we wouldn't have known about all that what happened in the 2020 election and all these things, evil wouldn't have revealed itself and our country would have been gone forever. Now we're going to get to this beautiful place out here and we're going to look back and say everything had to happen on God's timing. And even the bad things, everybody. And I encourage everybody right now, you know, they say, Mike, I prayed and my prayers weren't answered. You know, I prayed this, I prayed Donald Trump would come back right away and it didn't come answered. Well, I'm going to tell everybody, for me, I always say to myself, you know what, that might not be God's will. You know, I used to have these reactionary prayers. God, get me out of this, please, or make this happen. Those are reactionary prayers. Well, how do you be proactive in prayer? If it's not God's will, where's God's will? God's will is in the Word. I said at the Rose Garden one time, I said, let's get back in the Word, spend time reading our Bibles and spending time with our families. Well, if you stay in the Word, you can be proactive in prayer and they line up beautiful and you can have a peace, not have fear. You can have courage to move forward. Everybody, we have to have courage right now for such a time as this. You can't save your courage for a rainy day because it's pouring outside. This is where we need the pastors in our country. We need the churches. We need people to step up and spread the word of what's going on and what's happening, and also report the good things that are going on that are this is all gonna be fixed. We're gonna get to an amazing place. And everybody just keep the faith because that's what I do. It pays everything in my life.
Well, thank you so much for joining the Western Journal, and we hope to have you back again.
Well, thanks. And use that promo code now, that new promo code, Western Journal. We got the My Coffee at my store helping those entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurs need help. This is at mystore.com. And with that promo code, Western Journal, you can save up to 25% on that. But also at MyPillow, all the products. This is how I've been able to have a peace, is where everybody has been supporting MyPillow, my employees, and my store and their employees. And I want to thank you guys for getting your new promo code today to help us out. Thank you and God bless.